So Samir, let me just take you a little bit down the history lane. It'll be interesting to sort of think about how this entire story of money and story of currency markets evolved, right? The earliest dated use of money in the history of civilization actually predates the written world.
Predates the written world.
Written world.
Okay.
So effectively, we started as a civilization. We started using money almost, I think, 4,000 to 5,000 years ago.
Right.
And over a period of last 4,000 to 5,000 years, different kinds of things have acted as money, as we know it. Starting from, we all know about gold and silver, but bronze, iron, animal hides.
Right.
And the most interesting example that I can think of is basically cowrie shells.
Right.
All of us have heard about cowrie shells, during our childhood days. And there are some Hindi sayings about cowrie shells as well. But cowrie shells have been used as a global form of money for almost 3,000 years now.
Wow.
And that's the longest serving global money till the middle of 20th century.
Right.
It was used as a money in China, in Asia, in Africa, in Oceania, and in India also. We know that fairly well, right? But I think somewhere in the middle of 20th century, I think the earlier part of the 20th century, metals started becoming a form of money. Then gold became predominantly the form of money, and gold coins were being used. And somewhere in the 70s, the form changed once again to become paper money. Right? So today's foreign exchange markets are basically a result of the fact that we are using paper money.
Right.
And paper money in each country is different. Every country has its own form of paper money. They use a different sort of word for that money, because gold was a gold, cowrie shells were cowrie shells all over the world. But paper money is different in each country, right? And if you think about the fact that countries exchange commodities and services amongst themselves, that's the primary use of money, where they need to exchange one country's money against the second country's money.
Yeah. So I mean, if I were to just put this into perspective, so if in India I want to buy something from you, I will give you rupees. So rupee is the way of exchanging, value between you and I. But if you were outside of India, then I need to also place a value on the rupee itself. So there is some kind of exchange happening between us.
Yeah, I mean, just think about this. If you are in United States, rupee is of no value to you.
Absolutely.
Right? You got to spend in dollars. Whatever you want to buy, you need dollars for that, right? So if I need to buy something from you, and my currency is rupee and your currency in dollars, I need to pay you dollars to be able to buy that stuff from you, right? And for me to be able to pay you dollars, I need to first exchange rupees into dollars. And using those dollars, I can then buy stuff from you. The market to exchange rupees into dollars is basically foreign exchange market, right?
And at some point in time, they used to, like, some trader from the Middle East came to India and bought some spices. He would pay us in cowrie shells, and then he would go maybe somewhere else and sell that thing and get paid in cowrie shells. So cowrie shells became the...
Yeah, so I think in that sense, cowrie shells, because they were a very standardized form of beads, which were actually, so its history goes to ornaments, right? They were beads. They were liked all over the world as an ornamental value. That's how it started. But then cowrie shells became money in itself, right? But because it is standardized cowrie shells, you didn't need to exchange cowrie shells for something else to be able to buy stuff from other countries. So you could actually have a global, trade just doing a standardized form of money. But it's really the emergence of paper currency or the fiat currency as we know it today, which has in some senses resulted in the need for a market for exchanging one currency for the other currency, and hence foreign exchange markets.
Yeah, great. Right. So it gives a very different perspective to, you hear this in Hindi films a lot, right? Do kaudi ka aadmi hai. A very different perspective to the...
Yeah, but remember, though kaudi means its value, right? It's worth something.
Yeah, absolutely.